Going to read the book of Ruth. Been wanting to read the book of Ruth for a little bit here, and figured rather than read it in my van down by the YMCA where I usually read from the Bible, we have to read it here in the presence of my mama. Read the book of Ruth, and actually probably won't videotape my mama anymore. Maybe sometimes, I'm not sure. If it'll make any point, I will, but otherwise we'll just videotape the scriptures as we have done in the past. But I was just mentioning to my mama that the people in the story at the beginning, the reason why they left where they were is because they run out of food, and so they had to go to another place because they heard there was bread there. You know where they ended up? You know where they ended up? Yeah, I get to teach you something.
What?
Bethlehem.
Oh.
You remember that place?
Mm-hmm.
Bethlehem?
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about Bethlehem?
Huh?
Bethlehem.
I don't know.
How about what's this make you think of? Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie. What does that make you think of? What does it make you think of? Above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the silent stars go by. What's that make you think of?
I think it's nice.
What's it make you think of? Christmas, right?
Oh.
And what's Christmas make you think of?
I don't know, but you make it hard to come across.
When you think of Christmas, what happened at Christmas?
I don't know.
Do you remember the little nativity set we got? The little wooden thing? You know, that we got in Israel? You remember that? Remember when we went to Israel? We got that little wooden thing?
Yeah.
So what happened? Remember?
Not exactly.
Hold on, let me show you something else.
Boy, you can really remember clear.
I don't remember too clear because I thought there was something out there that I was going to show on the video that make you remember. A wise man, even though the wise man wasn't really there when it happened, in Bethlehem, they did visit. No, actually, I think the wise men even went to Nazareth. So that's unscriptural. However, anyway, what I'm getting at is Christmas, of course, and Jesus was born. That's what we recognize, the fact that Christ was born at Christmas time. That's the time we choose to remember that. So anyway, there was a lack of food. There was a lack of bread. Bethlehem means house of bread. And the lady in this chapter, Naomi, who was the mother-in-law to Ruth, she was very devout. She was a good woman. She didn't give people a hard time. She was well known in the area that she was from, because she was actually from Bethlehem. So she returned to her land, and she didn't give her nieces, her daughter-in-laws, a hard time about their false gods that they were to go back to if they would have returned to their own land. But she just kept herself pure before the Lord. Naomi did. Went back to her own people. The people there recognized her as a good woman, and for that reason give her some attention. And so this is just a couple of thoughts as we read chapter 1. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And okay, so actually there was a famine in the land, and then they went to Bethlehem. Okay, maybe there was a famine in Bethlehem, because they went to Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah, and they came to the country of Moab and continued there. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her 2 sons. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. The name of one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth, and they dwelt there about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them, and the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. And she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people in giving them bread. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her, and they went on the way to return unto the land of Judah. And Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house, and the Lord deal kindly with you, as ye have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant you that ye may find rest, each of you, in the house of her husband. When she had kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept. And they said unto her, Surely we will return with thee unto thy people. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Turn again, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have an husband. If I should say I have hope, if I should have an husband also tonight, and should also bear sons, would ye tarry for them till they were grown? Would ye stay for them, having husbands? And nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. And they lifted up their voices and wept again, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. And she said, Behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people, and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law. And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee, for whither thou goest I will go, and where thou lodgest I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. Where thou diest will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, she left speaking unto her. And they 2 went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass, when they were come to Bethlehem, that all the city was moved about them. And they said, Is this Naomi? And she said unto them, Call me not Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty hath dealt very bitterly with me. That's the same thing that the springs were called when the children of Israel passed over the Red Sea. I went out full, and the Lord hath brought me home again empty. Why then call ye me Naomi, seeing the Lord hath testified against me, and the Almighty hath afflicted me? So it must be Naomi means something that's positive, but somebody might comment below and mention what that is. So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, and returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of barley harvest. The beginning of barley harvest, that's pretty neat. It was also the beginning of big things with Christ. Going to be the bread of life was going to be born in the house of bread.